Oxenfree is the first game from new outfit Night School Studio, comprised largely of former Telltale Games employees who decided to go into business for themselves. Though it's rather short and fairly simple, this supernatural adventure title boasts enough artistry and ingenuity to give Telltale an easy run for their money. Though much won't be said about the mysterious plot here, it revolves around a group of teenagers who visit an abandoned island for kicks, only to accidentally trigger a series of temporal rifts with rather disturbing results. Indeed, Oxenfree is a game best played without knowing much at all, for though there aren't any major plot twists or shocks in store, the oppressive atmosphere is so effective at conveying a sense of dread, all the more so if you're not aware of some of the game's key mechanics ahead of time. For your benefit, they will not be mentioned here. It's a fairly slow burn for a game running just 3 or 4 hours in length, but it doesn't take long to turn trippy, and most surprisingly of all, pretty damn creepy. Though there aren't any zombies popping out of wardrobes or cacodemons desperate to melt your face off in sight, I was in a constant state of high tension playing it, aided by the deliberate doling out of the plot, ensuring you won't have a goddamn clue what's going on until very late in the day. Aiding the mood is an ambient score that recalls some of Silent Hill's better soundtracks, and doesn't at all sound like a cut price equivalent, just in case you were wondering. As for the rest of the sound department, dialogue and voice acting are strong for the most part, even if it occasionally suffers from Life is Strange syndrome. That is to say, the characters sometimes talk in an over-affected manner that no teenagers in the history of teenaging ever have. But it mostly feels authentic, the occasionally obnoxious self-awareness notwithstanding.
So, what's the thing to do here? Other than obviously go skinny dipping and get murdered by Jason Kruger.
Now, the game does have its issues, which hold it back from being truly great, so let's rattle them off. There's occasional clipping through other characters and objects, and this is compounded by some fiddly controls, at least on the PC version, where the game didn't seem to care for some of my inputs, and I would sometimes get snagged on routes for not following their incredibly precise invisible paths. There's also a fair amount of backtracking, especially later on, which seems like a poor design choice for a game so short, especially as there's seemingly no ability to run on command, only when the game wants you to. This can make several 5 or so minute sections of the game feel pretty much like a chore you wish you could skip. Still, these gripes, even collectively, only handicap the game slightly because it's overall such an effective melding of smart ideas, unexpected inventive mechanics, and ripe atmosphere. It asks the player to make some interesting choices with concrete consequences later on, ones that may well have you thinking long and hard about your decisions, certainly more so than many of Telltale's own games. Oxenfree may not be a classic, but it's an encouraging first step for Night School. I'd certainly have no objections if their next project operated under a similar style and tone. Oxenfree gets a high 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching. I'll be here from dusk till dawn.